Welcome into another episode of Bolt Breakdowns here with Tony Jefferson, everyone's favorite Unk, joining for the first time forward interview. After getting his contract done, he's back with the Chargers for 2026. Tony, how are you feeling?
Good. How's this our first time ever doing one, bro? We're going
I
on
don't
year
know.
3.
He going on year 3.
Come on,
Uh,
man. We
no,
should
it's
have
been
we
a
should
long
have been
time.
did this.
Yeah, we should have. Take me through how your off season's going right now. Training, getting back into the swing of things. How's it been going?
It's been good. Monday, Tuesday, golf Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, training, and then enjoy the weekends. I've been coaching my son's 7-on-7 football team. That's been great. Um, yeah, it's trying to do my off the field stuff too. Streaming, been doing a couple streams here and there. Um, and just enjoying it, just enjoying everything, enjoying the fam, enjoying life, but in reality, I really can't wait until April 20th. We can get back in the building and be back with the boys, see all the coaches, and get back into the swing of things.
You mentioned the coaches. Obviously, a big difference this year is going to be Jesse Minter has left the building and Chris O'Leary is now in as DC. You, Derwin, Dayon were all very supportive of Chris O'Leary coming back and being defensive coordinator. What is it about his coaching that makes it you confident that he can kind of fill the shoes of Jesse Minter, who obviously leaves a lot behind?
Obviously, like becoming a DC in the NFL, it's just a huge, tall task, just because of how good offenses are now and how hard it is to stop offenses and how explosive they can be. But spending time with Chris O'Leary, my very first year with the Chargers, I could tell right away that he had the intangibles to become a DC at some point. And he's cerebral with the game. He loves ball, and that's really all you ask for as a player, is to be involved and be able to connect with a coach who loves ball, and their only mindset is winning. I went and saw him last week, and I was like, "Are we trying to win a bowl or what?" Like, I'm trying to win a bowl, and that's really just like the mindset. Really, I'm intaking as I step foot into the bowl come April 20th. Is like, if your mindset's not trying to win a bowl, then like you're in the wrong spot, because the Super Bowl's in LA. It's at our home field, and
Yeah.
I'll be pretty pissed off if it comes February and the Super Bowl is being played and there's not a lightning bolt playing in a home game that day. So I think that's really just the message and the mentality we need to have every day we step into the building starting April 20th.
Yeah, there's been a couple teams that have done the home Super Bowl. Was the Rams did it a couple years ago. The Bucks did it back a couple of years ago too. It'd be nice to have
Yeah,
the Chargers in
yeah.
the bowl too.
It's time. We could do a Rams versus Chargers. I'm okay with that.
Ooh,
I don't care who's in
Battle
there,
of LA.
but for the AFC, the Chargers need to be represented.
Let's talk about your safety room.
Mhm.
It is you, Derwin, Elijah, Kendall Williamson as well, RJ. Take me through each of those players and everything that you get, everything that you're seeing in that safety room right now. And I think, when I think about Kendall Williamson too, he's one of those guys that I think is kind of under talked about by the fan base with everything he's done, on special teams. But take me through each one of you guys in the safety room and everything you've been doing.
Yeah, I think we have a pretty complete room. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if they did add. I know, like, for me, if I was a GM, I would love, it's you can never have too many safeties. I just think the position's so valuable just from a defensive standpoint and also the special team standpoint. And that's just going to breed competition. So I love our room. I love all the guys in there. Obviously, Derwin, we could put him anywhere. Defensive end, outside backer, nickel, corner, safety. Like he's just that Swiss Army knife that every defense in today's game really just is kind of looking for, because that can make things a whole lot easier on defensive coordinators going against these complex offenses. Elijah Molden, just a guy who carries himself like a true pro, can go out there, just a massive communicator. We communicate really well. Me and him really bode well together on the field. Really enjoyed playing with Elijah. I think he's got a big year coming. And then RJ, a young guy who showed a lot of flashes last year. Good ball player, smart, instinctual, has good ball skills. I think he brings true value to the room. A guy who just really has the ability to make plays. And when you're a playmaker, you've got to be able to see the field. And then Kendall, I know he gets a lot of talk about how well he plays on special teams, but if you turn on that preseason tape last year, you'll see Kendall really just being an aggressive tackler, playing good in space, which I think transfers over to his special teams play because he's a personal protector. So you've got to be able to make plays in space. And he shows that when he gets the opportunity to come in on defense. The past couple of years, he's been able to come in real life game moments. I remember 2 years ago when we were playing the Broncos on Thursday night. I think we lost like a couple safety that game, and he was just thrown in the fire in the most important part of the game in the fourth quarter on the last drive, and he came in and executed. And that's really what it's all about. It's about having your opportunity, and when you get it, making sure you do something with it. And Kendall has done that time and time again, year in and year out. So really just a really solid, touching all bases type safety room.
Yeah. No, I remember that Broncos game because that was Marcus May who went down and
Yeah.
tons of safety injuries, and you guys pulled it through at the end of that game. And it was really nice to see, especially with all the injuries down the stretch. You guys still put together a great finish to that season. Favorite memory as a Charger? The two that stick out to me, and I'll add in a third one. Eagles game, obviously, walk off. The Chiefs game last year, you could talk about that as much as the league will allow you to, or picking off your former teammate, new teammate, Trey Lance, when he was with the Cowboys and clinching your spot on the roster. That was, I felt like that was it, or not on the roster, but on the team. That year in general.
I felt like that was. I got cut like 2 days later.
Yeah, I know. But you got back on the practice squad. That you kind of earned your spot as the team monk in that season.
Yeah. I mean, I'll start with that Dallas game. I really was like back against the wall. You know, you got to go out there and do something to try and give them an everlasting memory of you before the cuts came down. And I just remember like going out there like, F it, I'm just going to go, just let it drop and just go. And that's really what my mindset was. And I went out there. I didn't hesitate. If I felt it and I went. And that's just, and it led me to having a monster game. I don't know too many people who would get released after a game like that, after a stat game like that. But I'm not gonna lie, I was hurt after that. But I guess I knew, you know, a guy who comes out of retirement, dealing with some hamstrings through camp, so you really didn't get that good of a look at him, because I'm not gonna lie, my body was not necessarily ready. Just that quick. I had only started training in like end of March, so I had like 2 months or a month before the mini camp, and I looked like crap there. I'm glad they still signed me and gave me an opportunity. So yeah, that was a year of just me just like showing that I still got it. So I was able to do that. The uh, Chiefs game, I love that game just because it was the atmosphere just felt like I just felt like I was in a NFL historic game that game, going up against Mahomes and crew. And it was cold. Um, it was an opportunity for us to knock them out of the playoffs. And it was just one of those games where everybody was confident and we felt like going into the game that we had the upper hand. And we went out there and we were physical. Uh, guys were ready to play. And that's one of those games where I'm probably never going to forget. It'll go in the book as when they ask um, what a real NFL game feels like. I think that one's going to be right there.
Yeah,
Uh,
obviously, lot of emotions.
yeah,
The double bird will
yeah,
always be remembered as the lasting image from that game. Um, I wanted to ask you about that because I think Derwin. I remember back in 2024 got suspended after the Steelers game. I think the difference in hitting and physicality, right? The NFL is a little bit different now with what you can't get away with. That game kind of a little bit of an example of that for, safety who obviously you've been playing football 20 plus years, of your life with what football used to be and what football is now. How do you kind of adjust to that on the field and adjust to sort of, I guess, the modern NFL, if you want to put it that way, since kind of coming back and dealing with the refs and knowing you could get penalized, suspended, fined, all that kind of stuff for hits that 10 years ago would have been kind of normal, if you will.
yeah. I honestly, in my opinion, I feel like I've always played the game like in a clean way, but I've
Yeah.
always found ways just to be physical. So I kind of think it's overblown. And I don't know if it's because I have a, a son who plays, but I like the fact that they're trying to clean it up, clear it up, take the head
Mhm.
out of the game. Because in reality, we really shouldn't be hitting with our heads. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that's how I was taught when I was younger in Pop
Right.
Warner was to lean in with your head, get in with your helmet, crown of your helmet, go into their face mask. Like that's how I was taught. But there's also another avenue and way to play the game with still being able to be physical, but using the proper technique. And I think the proper technique is having your head up, using your shoulders side, and I just think it's a safer game that way. So I'm not really
Mhm.
opposed to how they are calling the game and seeing the game. I just think that like for if you're gonna eject a person or a player, like you really need to go ahead and like take a good look at it. And if it comes out it was clean, like don't eject a player. Like
Right.
that's my thing. I'm all for okay, bang, bang, bang. You saw that, throw the flag. But ejection to a guy, I've always played the game clean. I don't really have any like penalties of that nature, like in my career. So, but I've always been known for being physical because I use the proper technique when it comes to tackling and hitting, and I'm going to continue to do that. But I just think ejection wise, um, just make sure that like it gets reviewed, and like if it's not egregious or like something like that, I don't think an ejection is proper.
Is there a way that they also I'm curious how this goes kind of week to week, right? Do they like communicate that to you guys about like, hey, this is what you could have done differently on this hit or something like that? Obviously, there's kind of like the suspensions, they announce all that kind of stuff, the fines. But is there kind of clear communication either from the refs or the team or the league about, hey, you did this, you should have done this, like kind of that Chiefs game, for example?
I think like when I call because I wanted to dispute it because I did get fined and I wanted to either reduce my fine money or get it completely taken away. And I had a good talk with the rep I was talking to, and I can't speak for other people's instances, but for my instance, like I think we both came to agreement. Like it wasn't like I wasn't purposely trying to do that and stuff like that. So I will say they do handle it pretty well when you do call and you talk to a rep. So I can't speak for other people, but I do think that like they do hear you out. And a lot of the guys that are reviewing it are former players too. So
Mhm.
that helps. So they can kind of understand the notion of like we're going full speed. It's hard to change trajectory and stuff like that. So um, again, I played so long, I don't really need to be told or taught how or I
Right.
should have done things better. I understand. So uh, I'd rather them save that and just look at the play and see if I can get my money back.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's what it really comes down to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you, the last 2 years you've been obviously coming back from retirement. It feels like now you kind of have earned your spot, right, on the team in a way that, that first year you were working your way back on the practice squad, last year practice squad, and you got elevated to the main roster. Um, did getting this contract done make you feel like, okay, like for the, whole season, I am going to kind of be on the roster, part of this nucleus of the team, or are you still kind of privy to the business of the NFL and knowing that,
Yeah.
the team might
No,
still need roster flexibility, or how do you feel about that?
I don't ever feel comfortable. Um,
Mhm.
I don't ever feel like anything is set in stone. I don't ever feel like I haven't felt that way since I signed my big deal with the
Mhm.
Ravens in 2017. So pretty much every contract after then, I've always had to like continue to prove myself.
Right.
So I've never ever felt comfortable. Um, Even last year, I had a really good preseason. Um, Coming off a good season where I had played. Um, And then I know I thought for sure that maybe I had done enough to finally make the roster, opening roster, but I didn't. I mean, I didn't. And that's just another case of just like just keep working. And I have felt that like I I felt that I had proven that I wasn't a practice squad player anymore, that I was able to contribute. So it just didn't happen. So I never ever take that on as if like, oh, you got a little guaranteed money now. Like, nah, that doesn't I'm still not
Mhm.
complacent with it. Like I'm taking it and I'm rolling into uh this season starting April 20th as if any other year, past 2 years I joined here. Just on the edge and trying to do what you can to make it.
Yeah. Um, you worked in the Ravens front office, obviously, briefly before you decided to return to football. Is there anything you have taken from that experience where you now use that in your own personal scouting, watching film, anything that has kind of changed um, how you kind of proceed with game film as a player?
Yeah. It actually changed everything.
Mm,
Um, it changed every perspective I had or thought I had. Uh, it changed how I viewed the game. I finally got in a situation where I was involved in football, but I didn't have the pressure to perform uh, on game days and stuff. My pressure really was just how many write ups can I get done for players. And as I was scouting and watching tape. I mean, we grind tape all day. It's literally all we do. Um, I've grown so much respect for scouts now, like living it and like understanding that like they don't have a life. Their life is finding ways to make the football team better. So I was able to see it from a bird's eye view. And as I'm watching players, I'm like, damn, hmm. And I'm like picking up on techniques. I'm picking up on schemes from offensive coordinators and offenses, and I'm like, damn. So whenever they do this, not just this team, but pretty much every team is kind of doing the same thing once they get into these formations. And like, I'm like, damn, I never really thought about it like this as a player. And it just gave me, I'm like, man, I wish I knew this when I was playing. Like, damn. So I just felt like I had an edge on like being being in the right spot, putting myself in position once I got back because I could remember that. I'm like, wow, I remember watching this tape. I had the uh I had the NFC East. So I'm just watching their tape. I'm like, wow, like I'm picking up so much. I'm seeing the game just so differently. And then what really made me come out of retirement was just being around the players. Like a lot of those guys on the team, I was on the team with them in Baltimore. So um, just being around them, going down there on game days, and just like getting that feel, bro. And that year we had went to the AFC Championship. We were one game away from going to the Super Bowl. We lost to the
Yeah.
Chiefs, and I was like, oh my god, like I couldn't get rid of the feeling of like being back out there. And I was like, I don't know, should I do this? Should I not? I leaned on some of my boys. Most of them were like, bro, you're washed. Stop. Like, chill. Don't even try to come back, bro. Like, your career's done, bro. Like, leave it alone. You had your shot, blah, blah, blah. And I was like hearing that stuff just made me fired up even more. And these are like my close boys. These are my boys. Like, Kyle Hamilton was telling me the same thing. He's like, bro, hang it up. Like, they're all like, bro, chill. I'm like, all right, bro. Like, you're making me like actually want to get back out there. And so yeah, that all that just fed. I just ate all that up. And then I went to the Senior Bowl as a scout, and that was the last thing I did as a scout. I went to Mobile, Alabama. Maybe it was that trip being in Mobile, Alabama, being from San Diego. We don't really mix. I was like, get me out of here. So I just stopped. I stopped. I went home. I started training, and boom, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess Kyle Hamilton telling you you were washed was a motivating enough factor to get back in there and be like, you know what, I'm gonna go play with Derwin James. I'm gonna go
Exactly.
see if I can win the AFC myself. You obviously scouted a bunch of defensive players. You played with a bunch of great defensive players. Derwin, Kyle Hamilton, all these guys that you've sort of been around either as a scout or as a player. Who stands out as sort of the best one you've ever seen in your career?
Ooh, that's tough. That's tough, dude. In Arizona, I played when I was at Arizona. I played with some dogs. I played with Pat P, Tyron Matthew. Like, it's hard. Terrell Suggs. Um, dude, I played with Larry Fitzgerald. Like, going against him every day in practice. Like, I've gone against some dogs. I don't really have anybody that I could pinpoint at one, but obviously, if you think about the teams dating back to 2013, Arizona, Baltimore, Chargers, like, you can just kind of do the math yourself and realize that I've
Right.
played with some goats.
Yeah. Um, Offensive players you've seen, you've obviously been around Lamar, multiple time MVP, Justin Herbert, everything he's been doing. Um, what about those two players kind of makes them stand out in the time that you've seen them?
They're just ballers, just straight up ballers. I was there when we drafted Lamar Jackson. I was actually doing a draft party um, at Jimmy's Seafood. I was hosting a draft party, and I remember I was actually on Instagram Live with Marlon Humphrey, and I was there when we drafted Lamar, and like everybody went crazy in there with like shock because we had Joe Flacco, but at the same time, like this is Lamar Jackson. Like I felt like people kind of overlooked his college career, which is insane to me. The fact
Mhm.
that any GM scout asked him to perform anything at the combine besides being a quarterback is
Yeah.
exactly why it's hard for some players to be on the same like wavelength as a
Hmm.
scout. You can't watch his tape as what he did as a quarterback and ask him to try out a different position. That's so disrespectful. But
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there. But I'm just
Shout out Bill Polian.
yeah. It's just like, dude. But we were excited. We were so happy. And then in 2018, that year, his rookie year, we went to him like in the most pivotal time of our year. We were like a game or two, like it was season's about to be over. Lamar came in and I think we won like 6 straight. Uh, and we were like, wow, we really got a shot. And then we ended up going to the playoffs and we lost the first round of the Chargers. But what we were able to see out of him, it made everybody excited in the building. And then his just competitiveness and his athletic ability is really rare. Um, and then I go from him to Justin Herbert to when you really put your scout glasses on and you want to build a quarterback a certain way, you probably want to build one like Justin Herbert, six
Right.
six, great arm, can run, uh, really good at decision making. Like it's just like hardly ever makes an error. Um, he has MVP written all over him, and I know as a teammate, that's I really want to see that happen for him because he deserves it. He's so tough. Like what he did last year with his hand, and then was
Yeah.
out there like 2 days later practicing. Like that did so much for me. Like as a player, just knowing that your QB, that's who your QB is, and that's
Yeah.
our identity. Because at the end of the day, like you're only going to be go as far as your QB allows you to go, and we have a quarterback who I think is what is the best quarterback in the league, and I want to see him shine this year.
Yeah, I'll never get it out of my head when, he was stiff arming Reed Blankenship with a broken hand.
Yeah,
That's just like this is overtime. I'm taking over, and if I don't do it, like we're not going to win this game.
yeah,
That was just the kind of stuff that I feel like when people think about Herbert and look at the results at the end of the year, whether it's playoff losses or stuff like that, they just don't kind of consider that stuff and all that he's been through
right,
over these years. So it was great to kind of see that moment from him, and obviously hope for MVP, team staying healthy, all that kind of stuff going forward. But yeah, he's obviously a one of one talent. Any goals for you as far as this season individually? Obviously, team is Super Bowl or bust, like you kind of said. Um, any individual goals that you'd like to kind of see for yourself, in your third year back?
really just consistency, staying consistent, be a playmaker back there, and I just I promise you, like individual goals sounds great. I don't give a damn about the individual goals, bro. I want to go to SoFi and I want to win a Super Bowl at SoFi at home for our fans, in front of our fans, and just like I don't know. I grew up in San Diego and
Mhm.
uh, always loved the Chargers, and like I really don't take it lightly when I'm able to get up every morning and go to work and I open my notebook up and before I open it up there's a big lightning bolt right there. Like that's my very first NFL jersey was a junior Seau jersey, and like I'll never ever take that for granted that I get the opportunity to go play for them. So like when I do play, I'm not playing just for me and my teammates. I'm playing for the past goats, man,
Yeah.
that I grew up watching, that I know my city still supports. And like being around town, like the love is starting to come back from San Diego so to the Chargers, and I'm really appreciative of that. I'm trying to push that because we still are the Chargers. I know we may not be in San Diego, but it's still the Chargers, and I know how everyone feels, but it's all love at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I
I
just
felt yeah. I
yeah
felt like last year you guys got big attendance when you guys did that practice down in San
yeah
Diego. And so the last 2 years you guys have done that. been really cool to watch. You mentioned growing up in San Diego. Have to hit you with two questions. A, are the Padres winning the World Series this year? And then B, top 5 Chargers of all time.
Are the Padres winning it all this year? I would hope so. I mean, I have the perfect plan for the Padres. Score points with the bats. Our pitching's pretty good. Just score points, have a good bat, and then let's just bring in Mason Miller, and I promise you, we're going to be fine. Because when Miller comes in the game, I think he's on like 11 straight strikeouts. I just watched the Pirates game today, and he just mowed everyone down. And I got to give a shout out to Mason Miller because, like, I remember when I was a kid and I was younger, I would go to the Padres game at Qualcomm, and they would put the bells for Trevor Hoffman.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get that same feeling with Mason Miller. It's a little early, but he's producing, and I'm starting to get that feel. So I'm really excited about how that's going in the trajectory of having a closer who can come out there and get a save for us. Top 5 Chargers of all time. First, I'm going LT. That's really
got to be in there.
Yeah, I used to play running back. I remember buying his cleats, his LT cleats. You could like put a card in like a colored card in like the cleat, like beast. I'll go with Antonio Gates, Hall of Famer. I love his story, undrafted basketball player, just comes in, and me and him, I don't know why, but when I was at Arizona, when I went to Baltimore, we like hated each other. We had like the biggest like one-on-ones like every time, and like he would get the best of me for the most part. I'm not gonna lie, he was really good. 2018, I shut him down 2018, but in years prior, I will say he won those matchups. Gates.
I was watching 2003 March Madness highlights of Antonio Gates in college, and it's just like, what a freak athlete to be able to do what he did in 2 sports.
Yeah, no, he's a beast. I give him that. I want to say Drew Brees, but I'm gonna have to go Phillip Rivers.
Gotta.
Phil, I love Phil. He was coaching my son's. He was coaching my son's flag football team a few years back, and the same competitiveness he had on the field as a player, he had it as a coach. And the kids were like 5 years old, and he's like getting into it with the refs and stuff. I loved it. Loved every moment of that.
Was there a part of you that felt like you had been seen when he came out of retirement?
Yeah,
you kind of put that into the air, and then
I feel like
the energy was received.
I feel like every time somebody comes out of retirement, I'm like, oh, I played a part in that. Yeah. So that's 3. 4, I'm gonna go Rodney Harrison. I love the way he played. And I mean, obviously he's a safety. And then lastly is obviously Junior Seau. He's my number 1. I'm not gonna lie. But Junior Seau, 5'5", my very first NFL jersey. One of his family members, one of the kids came to my camp last year. And I was like, bro, bring it in. Like, I had to get, like, he was so young. I'm like, I don't even think you understand or know the impact like that, Junior had. But
right.
Yeah, he's one of my all-time favorites. I feel like he should have never not been a Charger. But
yeah,
how
it's weird to see the pictures of him in the Patriots jersey, but we'll pretend it didn't happen. Yeah. Tony, it was great having you on. Loved every bit of it. Tell the people what you got going on Twitch, all the stuff that you're doing on YouTube. What do you got going on this off season?
Yeah, so I've like tapped into like streamer mode. I'm on Twitch. I'm actually streaming tomorrow with Lacey. We're doing a golf tournament up in Palm Springs for a little Coachella thing. But yeah, tune into that. My Twitch is T_Jeff23. When I get to LA on April 20th, after workouts and stuff, I'm gonna be doing a lot of like IRLs and like a lot of different VODs and stuff with our teammates. Dayon, obviously, he's bringing his ass on my Twitch. He already knows that. I'm on YouTube as well. I do like vlogs here and there. I just did a vlog golfing at Shadow Creek in Vegas, the most expensive round of golf in the world. I got comp. Shout out to the GM over at the Cosmo. And TikTok, I'm still trying to figure out how to work that thing, but I got one. And I'm playing around with it so I can figure out how to. I want to make the videos and stuff. I don't know how to record and talk and do all that, but me and ChatGPT have been building a pretty good relationship lately. So I'm trying to figure that out. But follow me on there too. I don't know my username for that, but yeah, that's what I got going.
To give the viewers a little inside baseball, it's just funny to hear you say TikTok when you just before the show you were trying to get your audio together here.
Yeah.
You were
Oh,
you
yeah.
were unked out a little bit.
Yeah.
But you are for the kids and for the people on TikTok
Yeah.
as well.
Guys,
Unk is for everyone.
before you guys got on, they probably won't see it, but it took me like 15 to 20 minutes to try to get it all hooked up. I don't know how to work like all these electronics. I'm like really like I'm new to all this, but one day I'm gonna be really fluent in what I do with this stuff. So
yeah,
hang in there with me.
All right, everyone, bolt up. See you guys next time, and peace.
Peace. Later. Thanks, bro.